celebrating 35 years with Chief Meteorologist Jesse Walker.
It's funny that how I got into this business. I was really shy when I was in school, so television was never something I thought about. I was taking a non-credit weather class at ISU, and the professor knew the people here at the station, and so we came here for a tour. Kerry gave us the tour, and he said, you know, we're down a person. Is anybody in this class interested in doing the weather here? And I remember when we left, a lot of people in the class were like, well, Jesse, you ought to try, you ought to give that a try. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, you know, it can't hurt to try. And so I called up and I came down and I did an interview, and they hired me. So I did that for about 2.5 years while I was in college. And then when I graduated, I had to make a decision what to do, and they offered me a full-time job doing the morning show. So that's how my career got started. You know, it's funny, you never know where you're going to end up in this business. I never thought I would do television. When I speak to career days, I tell the students, I say, never say never. You never know where you're going to end up.
When I started in the weather side of the business, Jesse was my competition. But one thing happened through a friendship that was developed, and that was, even though I was competition, he helped educate me. Instead of wanting to see me fail, he wanted to see me succeed. It solidifies the kind of person that he is.
It was fantastic to start here with Jesse. I'd been in the area, I'd watched his weather, I knew this guy knows what he's doing. He was very helpful. We got up to speed and running, and I think he had some confidence in me because 2 weeks after I started, he went on vacation. Well, Jesse and I have grown from being co-workers to being fast friends. I mean, we've been together doing weather now, approaching 28 years, he and I. So we've developed a really good friendship. We've always gotten along well at work, and outside of work, same thing. Just a great guy to work with.
Things were a lot different back in those days. You know, we had a metal wall, we stuck magnets to it. The internet wasn't around. We had a wire copy system which would bring in weather information. I would rip that and read that. We had an airplane radar, and we would shoot that radar with a camera. And then back in the day, we had an artist. There was actually an artist room. If you wanted a graphic, you went to the artist, he drew you a map. One of the biggest advances I've seen in my time has been that, the advancement of Doppler radar. Back when I started, we'd come on and say, hey, it's gonna rain tomorrow, and that was your forecast. Now we can say, hey, it's gonna rain between 2 and 4. It's gonna peak at about 5. There's gonna be a line of storms, there may be some hail, there may be some wind, and you're gonna get this much rain. So the technology in my time has been a tremendous upgrade.
Just from going to having to use National Weather Service radar to that radar outside this building was huge. It was the difference between being able to give a storm warning and then times of severe weather, that's life-saving.
We share information with each other constantly, morning, noon, weekend. We always communicate with one another so everybody's on the same page. We know what's going on, what's coming up, what to expect.
I'm from here, so you know, even before I started working here, I was used to the weather patterns, the weather conditions we had. I try to hone my skills on forecasting what's going to happen in this area. So I think being in one place for a long time when it comes to weather, I think it helps. Learn the patterns, they learn how things work, and then forecast the future from that.
Jesse is a boy from West Terre Haute who was raised to be humble and kind. I think that part of him has always shown on the air. I think viewers feel a connection to him. I think they feel like they can trust him, but more importantly, they like him.
He always asks, hey DW, how you doing? And I'll talk to him, but I really have to seek out how he's doing because, you know, he really doesn't need to talk about himself. He's just so easygoing and so humble. One of the things I admire about Jesse is his work ethic. He puts a lot of effort to being really good at what he does. And I think I've learned a lot from that over the years and certainly appreciate it.
And that kind of sums up Jesse. He does not mind working at all. He'll put a lot of time and effort into his craft. He'll put a lot of time and effort into his home. He loves his family dearly. You know, you just can't go wrong when it comes to Jesse Walker, and I think that comes across on the air, and I think that's why people love him so, including me.
He's just who he is. That's one of the keys to being successful in this business. When you're on television, that's who you should be because that's who you are in real life, and he's accomplished that. I always joke with him, and he just shakes his head. I said, I have many blessings in my life, and you, Jesse Walker, are one of those blessings.
Jesse is so knowledgeable, and he never stops learning. When he does his winter weather outlook, he literally follows the science to the letter to try to come up with the best possible scenarios. And that's because he's passionate about it.
I get as much enjoyment today coming into work as I did when I first started. I enjoy what I do. This is my life. Weather's what I love to do. So what keeps me going is the challenge. I want to try to do better. And this is when you know you're making a difference. I came into work one day and I had a call from a man, and he said, hey, I wanted to thank you. And he said that he had been at work, and his wife, and he had 2 small kids, a daughter and a son, and the storm came, and they were getting frantic, and they weren't sure what to do, and the son calmly told his sister and his mom, we need to go to the basement, we need to get under the workbench and stay there. And while they were under the workbench, the mom looked at the son and said, well, how did you know what to do? Why are you so calm? And he said, because last week Jesse Walker came to my school and he told me what I needed to do, and I remembered it. Those are highlights. When you can make an impact in somebody's life and they pay attention and they remember that.
He is truly the one person who, when giving the information to viewers about a forecast, is giving them what they need and telling them what they need to know.
If you look at the entire history of the station, he certainly would rank very high as one of the most important employees and personalities, that's for sure.
I've said you're only as good as the people that surround you. I've been blessed to be surrounded by a lot of good people, whether it's news or behind the scenes or weather. And when you surround yourself with good people, it makes your job easier, and it makes the whole process of what we do easier and look better. I have some of the best viewers. When they hired me a long, long time ago, I was terrible. I don't know how I ever got hired. I'm glad I did. I'm glad somebody gave me a chance. The viewers here are just they're so welcoming. So if I had anything to say, it's thank you. Thank you for being, kind, for welcoming me into your living room, for trusting me. I love what I do, and I appreciate that they've been so kind to me.